Today we will start our new session. In BCA, there are three subjects are there. First one is Advanced Java, that is known as J2EE. Second one is ASP.NET, and the third one is Basic Python. Today we will start the subject that is J2EE. In the previous semester, you learned the basic core Java, right? So in the core Java, you understand and you learn what is the basic components are there, how to compile the Java program, how to run it, then how you can apply the basic OP features in Java, and how you can create a class, how can you create packages and all the things. Then there are some graphical interface or graphical APIs are also there to learn about the GUI and how to you use the graphical interface in Java, right? So in this you learn about the applet and the swing components for that. So now we move on to our next step, that is to create a web application. So in using that basic core Java, you can create a desktop application, but when you move on to the web application, you need a client server interface, or we can say that client server infrastructure. So how the client server infrastructures are working, then how you can build the web application, which the APIs you need, how many types of application you can create using Java. This all are the things you need to learn in this subjects. So first one that is the part is introduction of J2EE. In the first unit, you learn the basic J2EE. What is J2EE? What is the enterprise? What is the enterprise architecture? What is the J2EE enterprise architecture? And the main thing that you learn, that is the Java database connectivity. So the first one, that is the thing is introduction of J2EE. So let's move on to our introduction of J2EE. So Java is a very well-known programming language to create a dynamic web application because of its some features like security, data binding, polymorphism, and etc. As you all aware about the Java, right? So what is the Java? We all know that among all the programming languages, Java is a very well known for its security. So to create a dynamic web application, when you connect with the server, or when you connect within the network and all the application, there is security must be applied in the application. So Java is a very best choice to create any web application. So there are different types of additions available for Java. When you create a application, there are three main things you have to learn about the Java. So there are three additions are there. So first one is J2SE, which is known as Java 2 Platform Standard Edition, which is known as our core Java, which you learn in your previous semester. That is known as our core Java, and all the things you cover in that subject, that is the programming in Java, is defined as a J2SE. Second one is J2EE. So it is known as Java 2 Platform Enterprise Edition. And the third one is Java 2 Platform Mobile Edition. Mobile Edition, it means all the mobile application which you run in the previous when Android is not in picture, all the programming is done in Java. So this edition is known as J2EE. Among all the three editions, we learn about the J2EE in our subject. So first one is Java 2 Platform Standard Edition. In J2SE, there are two main components. First one is JDK, which is known as Java Development Kit, and the second one is JRE, that is Java Runtime Environment. It also used to create a desktop application with some graphical interface APIs. As you all know that to create a desktop application, we need some graphical interface. So the applet and swings components are there to create a GUI in desktop application. J2SE contains different tools like Corba, that is defined as a common object request broker architecture database access, and some other functions like input output function. So this the development kit is provided in the JDK to create a complete desktop application in J2SE. This is the basic features which are applied when you create a desktop application. Now move on to our next edition, that is J2EE, that is Java to Enterprise edition. J2EE is a collection of API that can be used to build large-scale distributed component-based multi-tier application. In this thing, there are different words are used. That the first thing is large scale, second one is distributed, third one is component based, and the fourth one is multi-tier application. So first thing we have to learn that what are the words which is defined in this thing. So first is large scale. It means that you have to when you create a web application for the different features contained in that application, you need to maintain this all the thing. So suppose we see we can say that on banking system, right? So in the banking application you have to maintain different modules, different users among all the system. So this defined as a large scale system. Second one is distributed. It in the distributed term we can define that among the users or among the data is shared between to the users and between the systems, and you have to handle it in the distributed area, right? So this the distributed thing is work like that. Third one is component based. It means that different components are needed to work in that particular application. And the fourth one is multi-tier application. So there are tier means we can define as a layer. So there are different layers are available in multi-tier applications. So J2EE is also used to create dynamic enterprise applications and web application. So to create a web application you have to contain a J2EE APIs. So it specifies that write once, run anywhere. As we all know that Java is a platform independent language. So when you create one code, you can run any type of a system when you have that particular applications bytecode. So J2EE is also specified that write once, run anywhere. In terms of enterprise application, could be seen as that it can be run on different platforms and supporting the Java 2 platform. And enterprise applications are portable between application servers supporting J2EE specification. So when you define the platform independent term in J2EE, so there are different servers are available, and you can work with different servers with your Java application. So it is also defined, we can say that enterprise edition or enterprise applications are also platform independent, because there are many types of application servers are available in the market, that is which work with Java particular languages. So this all the things are defined in the our J2EE part. Next is J2ME. So J2ME is defined as a Java 2 platform micro edition. It helps to building Java application for micro devices with limited display and memory requirements. All the mobile application is contained in J2ME. And this J2ME edition, some APIs are there, and it fits into 1 KB. So different components are needed, that are the wireless devices, PDAs, and network devices. So these things are needed when you create a Java 2 platform micro edition. So these components like wireless devices, PDAs, network devices are used in J2ME. So wireless devices is used when we remotely access that particular applications. PDA is defined as personal digital assistants, which worked with or we can say that particular device which we can run that application. and the network devices which apply the particular which is used to transfer the data. So this all are the basic components defined in J2ME. Now we move on to the APIs in J2EE. So there are different types of APIs that can be used to build enterprise editions, which are the like Servlet, JSP, EJB, then Java message services, the JNDI naming and directory interfaces for the database connectivity. We can use JDBC for the mailing service. There are Java Mail. Then after transaction services, that is JTS. Transaction APIs are there, which defined as JDA, and other connector architecture, which is known as J2EE or JCM. So these all are the APIs which is used to create an enterprise applications in J2EE. These all are the used in different way to create that particular applications. When you create the application or a web application, there are different components are used, or different entities you have to apply in that application. So to develop a web application, there are two sides. First one is client side and the second one is server side. At client side, following technologies are used. First one is HTML and the second one is Java. HTML pages are used to create the designing, and Java pages are used for coding. At server side, the three technologies are used. First one is JSP, second one is Servlet, and the third one is Enterprise Java Bean. So Servlets and JSP are used to coding that the basic Java part in that particular coding part. So at the server side, these three technologies are used, that Java Server, JSP, Servlet, and the EJB. These three are the main things for the server side scripting languages, and it code at the server side. So it is used at the server side. To coding part is done. Now we move on to the enterprise architecture. First one, we should know that what is the enterprise architecture. An enterprise architecture is a conceptual blueprint that defines the structure and operation of a system. So it is that overview. Enterprise architecture defines the overview of the system, and what are the functionalities of that system performed. It defines by that enterprise architecture. The intent of an enterprise architecture is to determine how a system can most effectively achieve its current and future objectives. So the enterprise architecture is defined that how the system works and what are the purpose of that system and what are the functionalities of the system is defined by the enterprise architecture. So in the enterprise architecture, there are mostly four types of. So there are the four types of architecture. First one is single tier architecture, second one is two tier architecture, third one is three tier architecture, and the fourth one is multi tier architecture or n tier architecture. So the first thing we have to learn that what is tier. A tier is an abstract concept that defines a group of technologies that provides one or more services to its client. So it defines that one type of layer which is combined with the technologies to provide the services to its client. So initially two tier architecture is done, and then after it is developed to three tier, multi tier or n tier architecture. In this, that the tier architecture is defined that the one thing as a layer. When you think about this any system, there are different things are attached with the system. So that the single system works singly or independently, which known as a tier, or which we can say that single tier architecture. When the different layers are attached with the system, so this layer is worked as a two tier and multi tier, three tier or etc. So after the developing the three tier architecture, multi tier architecture is developed to bring out the flexibility of the design, or to working that how or we can say that to flexible working we perform or that the maintenance also, that is the less when you work with the multi-tier architecture. So it also increase the complexity of building, testing, deploying, administrating, then after maintaining the application components. It also become less when you working with the multi-tier architecture. So first one, we have to move on the single tier architecture. In this type of architecture, business logic, presentation and database are all in one single system. That's why it is known as a single tier architecture. So when you define the web application, there are the two things are there. First one is client, second one is server. Client, what is the task of the client? That it just want the data, right? So for that data, it requests that particular data and it is sent by to the server, and it is sent to the server. What is the task of server? Server has a task to respond the request which is come from the client. So this is the main task of client and server. Always client performs a request and the server gives the response to the client which come from the client. So when a single system performs this both tasks, it defined as a single tier architecture. So when you define any system or any application, there are three things are there. First one is presentation part, second one is business logic part, and the third thing is database part. What is the presentation part? So presentation part is the thing that you that the client interacts with the thing, or we can say that graphical user interface. The when you operate any application, the screen where you come with or you interact with that system, that part is defined as a presentation part. After interaction with the client, all the hidden thing is done. That part is known as business logic. So all the background process that performs when you work with any application, the background process is done is defined as a business logic. And the data, when all the data is come from store or maintained, that is the thing is database part. So all the three things in one system, that is known as a single tier architecture. So in the single system, client is there and server is also there. Client is sent the request and that same system generates a response and give the response to the client part or the client system part. So in the single tier architecture, there are some advantages, that the architecture or the system is simple and easy to handle, because there is a one single system and you have to maintain the one system. But the disadvantages are also there, that we cannot share data to multiple users at a time, because the system is single and the only one client or one user can interact with that system. So this is the main disadvantage of the single tier architecture. Then we move on to our second part, that is the two tier architecture. Two tier architecture, it also known as client server architecture, because there are the two different entities are there. First one is client and the second one is server. So in first system is worked as a client part, second system is worked as a server part. So there are two parts, client part and the server part. So it works known as client server architecture. It consists mainly of two tiers, so client and server. Client part performs the graphical user interface part, or we can say that interaction part, presentation part, and the server part performs the database part. This architecture has some limitations like lack of scalability, high maintenance. When the number of users are increases, the system may not give the proper output of all the request. So that defines the scalability. So this is defined as the lack of scalability of two-tier architecture. And there are when the multiple users are there, you have to maintain all the requests of that users and to give that proper answer to proper client, that the main thing. So you have to highly maintain that system. So this is the two-tier architecture. So and this is the graphical representation of two-tier architecture. In this, client workstation are there, and the same second part is the server machine. In this figure, client workstation, there are two parts. First one define the client program, GUI presentation logic and database request, and the second part define the file access. So this all the things are contained in the client part, and only when the database system are performed at the server side. So client send the request for the data to the server machine, and from the server machine or the database management system, number of database files are there. So for to handle the request or to give the response to the client, we have to find out the proper response or proper output for that request. So to fetch that data, there is a database management system and the files are there, and to when the client send the request, it analyze the request and responses and data is written to the client part, and it also represent that particular output at the client side. So the graphical part or we can say that the GUI part is also at the client part, only the database part is at the server machine. In the two-tier architecture, multiple users can perform in two-tier architecture, but when the number of users are increased, the system may not give the proper output or may not handle the number of users. So this is the disadvantage of two-tier architecture. When we move on to the when we move on from single tier to two-tier, three-tier, multi-tier architecture, there are different parts are there from client and from the server side. So in these things, there is the two terms are there. First one is thin client and the second one is thick client. So first one, what is thin client? In the two-tier architecture, presentation manager resides only with the client tier. Then such client is called thin client, with the other presentation logic, application logic, business logic, data logic and database manager reside with the server side. So this defined as the thin client. Thin client has only one component or one entity, that is the presentation manager. So client tier also, or we can say that client tier has only one thing, that works to send the request with GUI, right? So this defined as the presentation manager, while at the server side there are different entities are there. That presentation logics are there, application logic are there, business logic are there, database logic are there, and to maintain the database logic, there is the database manager are also reside at the server side. So when client send the request, server all handle all the thing and generate a response and send back to the client. So this is the thin client. In the thin client, only one thing at the client side, that is the presentation manager. All the other entities are at the server side. So we can say that is the thin client. Now what is the thick client? In two-tier architecture, presentation manager and presentation logic and application logic are reside at the client side, while the business logic, database logic and database manager are at the server side. So there are three components are divided from client side to the from client side, that is presentation manager, presentation logic and application logic resides at the client side, and the remaining entities, that is the business logic, database logic and database manager at the server side. So all the GUI part is reside at the client side, and some amount of application logic at the client side, and all the database thing and business logic at the server side are there. So this defined as the thick client. Now the next one is normal client. So in two-tier architecture, if the presentation manager and presentation logic reside in the client tier, it is known as normal client. all the application logic, business logic, database logic and database manager at the server side. It defined as a normal client. It means that client has only one thing to handle the presentation part, and all the presentation logic is also resides at the client side, and all the server part that is worked with the data, actual data of the request, it resides at the server side. So there are the three parts, or we can say that there are the three types of client in two-tier architecture or multi-tier architecture or n-tier architecture. That is the thick client, thin client and normal client. Thick client has only presentation manager part, while the thin client has a presentation manager, presentation logic and application logic part, while the normal client has presentation manager and presentation logic and client tier part. So this is the basic types of client. What are the advantage and disadvantage of two-tier architecture? So the advantage is that you don't have to change in your application when you change your database and presentation logic or any application. It means that there is the independence of that of the three things: business logic, presentation part and the database part. It means when you done any changes in your business logic, it doesn't affect your database part and any other presentation part. So there is a independence in the two-tier architecture. And the second one is it is simple and easy to maintain. But some disadvantages are also there, that when number of users increases, performance will be decreased because it hard to handle. And then difficult to handle database server, because all the database files are reside at the server side and the number of users are increases. So the server have to fetch that which type of data is reside in the database part, and how the request is handled, and how to respond that particular request, and appropriate output or response is given to the client. So this is the difficult to handle and not portable to other database server. So that these are the disadvantages of two-tier architecture. Now we move on to three-tier architecture. So this is the three-tier architecture. In the three-tier architecture, there is the three parts are there, or we can say that entities are divided into three. The first one part is presentation or presentation logic part. Second one is business logic part, and the third one is database logic and database management manager part. So this there are the three tier divided according to the presentation, business and database logic, which defined respectively as client tier, business tier and server tier. At the client tier, all the things which are interacted with the client and handled by the client tier. So there are the thin client, thick client are there, web client are there, and standalone application also reside at the client tier part. Then after presentation, or we can say that graphical user interface components are also reside at the client side, or all the graphical related to the graphical thing, it is reside at the client side. Then after presentation logic is also reside at the client tier. Then after we the second tier is comes in picture, that is the business tier. All the business logic, or we can say that actual task which is done by the application is it is known as business logic. It will reside at the business tier. And the third thing is the server tier, which handles all the data that maintained and stored in the database manager and database logic. So in the database storage part, there are different types of things that is maintained, like the files and the storage databases or etc. thing that the data is stored in different types at the database storage. So these three tiers are the most important part in your web application, because when you create your web application, all the thing is divided in this part, right? So or we can say that when you create any application, there are different files you have to create. So the first thing there or the first tier that here is the defined as the client tier, which is the handle all the presentation part. So normally we all the thing we normally the perform we presentation part using HTML, right? So GUI which is performed for the web application that is handled by the client tier. So for example, we can say that HTML files is considered at the client tier in the presentation part. Second one is business tier. All the Java files are defined in the business tier part. And the third thing is server. So when you create your web application, the data which comes from the thing which is known as the database part or the server tier part. So this is the main three components or the main three tier in the three tier architecture. In the three tier architecture, the some disadvantages and some advantages are also there. Usually that when you define the three tier architecture, it improves the scalability. Then database connection is not required from each and every client. So it is very, we can say that user friendly. When you come to the two tier architecture, every time you have to connect with the server and the request is sent, and you have to approach that particular server and send back to the request, and again the response is sent back to the client. So this all the thing is very very hard to every time when you send a request to the server. So in terms of three tier architecture, that the database connection is no you have to require when you each time the request from that particular server. So it is the very thing that it better reusability and security is also ensured in the three tier architecture. And one disadvantages are that it increases the complexity. So these things are the advantages and disadvantages of three tier